Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Tolhurst and welcome to the Motormania Podcast for today, the 1st of April. It's been a while since I've done one of these podcasts live on YouTube. Obviously I don't do the Tonight Show podcast, but I've not really touched the Motormania channel for a while. But don't worry guys, over these next few months there will be plenty of content coming. I have content already planned coming up in the days ahead. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But first of all, we're going to talk about motor racing because I want to talk about the F1 now. Obviously, we cover motorsport on this show as well, alongside the Tonight Show podcast. And I feel like F1 is where we want to start. Now, obviously, we had the Chinese Grand Prix last time out, which was actually won by Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. McLaren getting their second consecutive win in a row. This time, though, it was the teammate for Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri claiming the win with Lando Norris finishing in second and George Russell taking the final podium spot in third for Mercedes in what was obviously Mercedes at one point actually, challenging for the victory. Just fell short though. Russell obviously nearly got second place, but Norris just managed to bring it overhead of the Mercedes driver there. And of course, in the Chinese Grand Prix, Max Verstappen was fourth in the Red Bull. And you might have noticed that the two Ferraris were behind of Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. They were fifth and sixth on the road, but they got disqualified. Leclerc and Pierre Gasly also got disqualified in the Alpine for failing technical infringements with the car. Lewis Hamilton was also disqualified in the Ferrari for a rear skid pan. Was worn down too much. And Jack Doohan in the Alpine received a 10-second time penalty for forcing RB's Isaac Hadjar off the track at the hairpin at the end of a long back straight. What does this mean for the revised top 10? Well, Esteban Ocon officially gets 5th place, and also Ollie Behrman completing 8th place there in the second of the Hasses, and has scored a huge 14-point haul from this race. A huge result for Haas. Honestly, they were at the back in Melbourne. What a turnaround in Shanghai. And actually, they were driving pretty well in the race, making up positions. Andrea Kimi Antonelli was in 6th in the other Mercedes. Albon was 7th. Obviously, he's promoted everyone up. Lance Stroll got 9th. Carlos Sainz got his first points of the season in 10th. Isaac Hadjar was 11th. And Liam Lawson, who will be his teammate from Japan, because unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda will now be promoted to the Red Bull seat following Liam Lawson's disastrous first two races. In fact, Lawson qualified at the back in qualifying in that car. It is not a nice car to drive, that Red Bull. Red Bull have been, well, the management there is just completely toxic. Like, it's absolutely toxic. It is like they're running a merry-go-round every single year when they can't seem to keep their drivers on. The leadership in Red Bull has been under a huge scrutiny. It's like you're trying to eat a cheese sandwich and it all falls apart. It's not ideal. And it's just bad leadership from Red Bull. They really do not like their young drivers being around for long. In fact, Helmut Marko went very extreme during the first race and called Isaac Hadjar's performance embarrassing in Australia after he spun out on the formation lap in wet conditions. Well, that shows you what I mean by that. Oscar Piastri obviously getting his third career victory in F1 now, obviously from his first pole position. What does this mean now for the Drivers' Championship? Well, let's have a look now. It means Lando Norris has a 9-point lead over Max Verstappen in the title race. George Russell is third, and Oscar Piastri now up to fourth, only a point behind Russell and 10 points off Lando Norris, in the standings. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton won the sprint race, which is why he's got 9 points to his name in 9th place. The next round is this weekend. It's a 6 o'clock start on the Sunday for the Japanese Grand Prix, round 3 at Suzuka. As I said, Yuki Tsunoda will be promoted to Red Bull, racing in that car alongside 4-time F1 World Champion Max Verstappen, and also Liam Lawson will be demoted back to RB. Also as well, we can't go without looking at the constructors' standings, because it's important that we look at the constructors' standings when we're, of course, reviewing F1. So in the team standings, or the Constructors' Championship as it's called, McLaren, well, they are looking good at the moment. Mercedes not too far behind despite that points haul. Obviously 57 points. Russell's consistent results playing off at the moment. McLaren ahead though on 78 after their huge haul of points. In fact, maximum haul of points, should I say, in China. And then Red Bull down on 36. By the way, Max Verstappen has scored all 36 points for Red Bull. So Red Bull need their second driver to really up the game when it comes to providing support for their teammate to score points. In the Constructors also as well, Williams above Ferrari, tied on with Ferrari, has a 14. Aston Martin is 7th, again courtesy of Lance Stroll scoring the points for them because Fernando Alonso DNF'd again in China with what looked to be an issue with the car for the Aston Martin driver. Kick Sauber got some points, obviously courtesy of Nico Hulkenberg in Australia. RB Racing Bulls at 9th and Alpine currently at the bottom with nil points, zones of 0 points. So not ideal. If you're a fan of them two cars, obviously I said the next race is in Japan at Suzuka, an iconic track. Of course, that was a track actually, funnily enough, where Kimi Raikkonen won years ago from storming from, I think, towards 17th on the grid. I think was it 2006 or something where he won the race. I think was it where he overtook Giancarlo Fisichella on the last lap at turn 1. I do remember that race very well from watching highlights. Meanwhile, NASCAR went to Martinsville for the Cookout 400. Martinsville is obviously a short track. Obviously, they go back there again later in the year for a playoff race. And it was Denny Hamlin who won the race. Fairly convincing victory in the end, ahead of Christopher Bell, who at one point won about 2 or 3 races in a row. Second, again, looking good. Bubba Wallace 3rd. Chase Elliott 4th. Carl Larson 5th. Ross Chastain was 6th. Ryan Preece 7th. Joe Logano 8th. Chase Briscoe 9th. Todd Gillen was 10th. And also down the bottom of this, you had Austin Cindric, Eric Jones. Few drivers been caught up in a few little accidents there as well. The next race for the Cup Series is at the 6th of April at Darlington for the Goodyear 400. And coming up later that week, we then have the first of the Bristol meetings for the Food City Dirt Race. And then, of course, the Geico 500 on the 27th of April at the famous Talladega Super Speedway, home where, of course, they filmed that film years ago for the Ballad of Ricky Bobby and the Talladega Nights film with Will Ferrell and Sacha Baron Cohen. So, yeah, that race certainly will be an interesting one, to say the least. Now we're moving on to the car news now, which should be very interesting indeed, to say the least. So, let's have a look at some car news now. I'm sure this will be very interesting for you guys. Plenty of this coming up now on the car news forefront. In terms of your handy new guide for cars coming out this year, I'm not going to go through 137 cars. I'm just going to point out some of the cars that many people will be looking forward to come out in 2025. First up is the Alfa Romeo Iberia. This car is going to receive a 1.2 litre hybrid powertrain and 134 brake horsepower, and also a more ornate grille. Also as well, the AC Cobra GT will be reborn with a carbon fibre body, aluminium chassis, and a 654 brake horsepower V8. Throwback to the days of when Carroll Shelby put a massive 4.2 litre V8 in the Cobra. One point was the fastest. That was in the 60s. Does anyone remember the original AC Cobra? Does anyone actually remember it? One of the fastest cars in the world, because Carroll Shelby once put a full V8 in it. He also put it in the Sunbeam Tiger as well, which was basically a Sunbeam Alpine with more power. So, yeah, he loved converting these old cars and renaming them. So, yeah, cool indeed. As well. Oh, there we go. The Stelvio also gets an update as well. It will use a 3 litre straight 6. It'll also offer electric power as well. It's going to be based on a new Stellantis structure called STLA. Stelvio gets an update along with the Tonal update as well. Alpine also announcing an A390 as well. Another electric car taking on the Porsche Macan. Aston Martin also unveiled their Valhalla. mid-engine hypercar rivals, the SF90XX and Lamborghini Revuelto, is going to have a flat plane crank V8 from Mercedes, going to put 1,064 brake horsepower. Also, as well, the V12, the drop-top V12 powered Aston Martin Vanquish will get a Volante convertible, guys. It gets a soft top, but doesn't lose much in terms of pace. The Vanquish Volante, not the Vantage, it's the Vanquish. Understood it's going to be hitting 214 miles an hour, 0 to 60 miles to 2 bars per hour time in 3.3 seconds. Very fast for an Aston Martin. Now they're getting more powerful. 214 miles an hour top speed. The Vantage Roadster is also going to come out with 656 brake horsepower, even greater clarity with a V8. It's going to understood cost around 10k more than a £165,000 coupe. Also, as well, the RS6 will be back this year, but not as you remember. Planned for the RS6 e-tron as well. It's expected the RS7 will be around to have 600 brake horsepower and 700 pounds of torque. BMW also announcing an M2 Club Sport is going to have weight savings, new rear spoiler, aggressive suspension. Will set up this car for sports car for track use, along with the M3 Touring will get a CS package as well. And also the BMW will launch an M5 Estate as well, which is going to come with a 717 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid powertrain. For an estate car, that is mad. Over 700 brake. That puts it up Lamborghini Aventador territory for an estate car, blimey. The Citroen Ami is also going to get a facelift as well. Also, Cupra will be unveiling their new car called the Spain's Cupra Rival. It's going to take on the Renault 5. Dacia are also announcing a mild hybrid version of the 4x4 on the Duster. A new family hatchback, a jogger facelift. Also on the cards as well, the Ferrari 12 Cylinder. I heard this car was on Top Gear magazine recently. The 12 Cylinder, this car is going to have 819 brake horsepower, 6.5 litre V8. Unlike that in the rival Aston Martin, it's naturally aspirated, so it rev up to 9,500 RPM. According to Top Gear's map, according to Matt Autocar's Matt Pryor, it says an engine to die for. The F80, obviously the LaFerrari successor from what we understand, as well. The Mustang GTD, the Gen E version of the Ford Puma, the Ioniq 6. So many cars on this list. There's over 100 cars. I can't give you a name. But like I said, you can go to all of the links for all the websites to find out all the latest new cars that are coming out in 2025 as well. So many new cars. Some that I'm looking forward to, some maybe not. Obviously, the new Renault 5 got unveiled in Paris the other week. I saw Drive Tribe's Izzy Hammond, I've also a member of the Small Squad. She went out there to France to have a look at the premiere of the new car as well. I know that quite a few people actually went out to see the launch of that car. Obviously, it's electric. I'm a little bit surprised. I'm very surprised Renault have gone with that because I'm a little bit unsure. Why didn't they offer it in a hybrid trim? Now it's electric. Like the old Renault 5. I'll just get the old one, personally. But let's hope the new Renault 5 is still good to drive. I hope it is. Because the old car was so iconic. You know, in the 80s, it was such an iconic car. You know, it was a little rally car when you got the faster version of it. So, yes. But anyway, that's the end of the car news. Now it's time for the final part of the podcast tonight. And I'm going to be talking about quickly some new videos that you'll be able to watch on the channel. So coming up over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be filming maybe a couple of new videos. One of the videos I'm going to be filming is breakdown covers. Now, a lot of you guys, if you break down, you know, in the middle of a road or you need people to come out and repair your car, I'm going to be doing a battle of the breakdowns. RAC, Green Flag and the AA. I might do a little bit of research into the companies for you guys, but I want to find out what is the best breakdown car, because a lot of companies kind of do breakdowns. I had the RAC round to fix my MG up the other day, well, actually to do a battery test, because my engine warning light came on the other week. Well, my battery warning light did on the dash. So make sure if you keep an eye out for them, because obviously they can actually help you Obviously, sometimes it's good or bad, but I'm going to do a video on that. We're also going to do another video as well. I've got videos planned. I'm going to be doing a video on driving test routes again. So more on that will be coming out, more across Essex. Also as well, generally more car videos. I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be doing a bit more motorsport content as well, talking about some of my favourite racetracks. Favourite places across the UK to watch racing from. Best corners and best racetracks to watch them at. So can't wait for that. Talking about the best corners at a racetrack to watch the action. So should be very interesting indeed. But that is all for tonight on the Motormaina podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see any more content from my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to the video and chat to Squash on the live stream. I'll alert you when new videos get uploaded. And that's all, folks. Take care and have a great night. I've been your presenter, Charlie Tolhurst. This is the Motormaina Podcast live on YouTube. Take care and good night.